Welcome back, you Blues. This is Nate Football, and today we're going to be talking about how we just beat Manchester United. Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. And this is a massive win for us. I mean, every game that we play in the Premier League is basically a final. But now that we're edging ourselves our way to the end of the season, there's not many points available, and we need to pick up every possible point. And we have done that today. So let's go over a quick recap of what happened in the game. I bet most neutrals would say that it was a very boring game, and I'd agree with them. But if you're a Chelsea fan, I mean, every second of that game, you're just so nervous, just hoping that we get the 3 points and come out of here alive, because those Champions League spots that are left are just up anybody. There's too many teams competing for them, and it just seems, I don't know, it's just super nervy. Now, starting in the 4th minute, Cole Palmer, who I think had a great game today, a little bit quiet, but had a great game. He puts in a ball on the 18-yard box and puts it through into Nani Madueke, which I think Nani had a good game too, and I've really been liking him, see him progress throughout this season. I think he's improved a lot in many aspects of his game, but he misses a sitter today. It is definitely a sitter, and he needs to be scoring that, and this completely changes the outcome of the game. Maybe we win 3-0 or something like that. But scoring in the 4th minute would have certainly helped us out in this game. Now, moving on, nothing really much happened until the 15th minute, where Harry Maguire actually scores by a great ball sent in by Bruno Fernandes. But this goal really scared me until you see the replay. Now, it is a very tight call, but in the end, he is completely offside. Maybe only by a foot, maybe only by a few inches, but he is offside, and that's the call. Then we move on into the 28th minute, where Enzo Fernandez is on the edge of the box, and so one of the Chelsea players puts in a cross, and Enzo Fernandez is just waiting on the 18, shoots it, but while he's shooting it, it hits Højlund in the hand. And I've seen a lot of comments saying, is this a handball? Is this a penalty? Is it not? And I'm just going to give my take on it. I think it's very similar to what happened to us last season against Man City in the semifinal of the FA Cup, or the Carabao Cup, I can't remember. I think it was the FA Cup. But it hits him in the hand from a shot. It's on target, and you don't know if the keeper's going to save it or not, but the hand is what deflects it off of the goal. So as long as the shot is on target, hits the hand, and then puts it away from the goal, I think that's a handball, and that's a clear penalty. I get that the hand might have been tucked in. I don't think he was that tucked in. It was kind of more flailing about. His elbow was tucked in, but I don't think his forearm was. That being said, a lot of people were also saying that because his arm, or Højlund, was so close to the ball that it doesn't really matter. Like, it's just always, if it hits his hand, it's not his fault. You can't react to that. But regardless, I think it's a handball. I think the refs got this wrong. I was very mad about the officiating, but in hindsight, I think it was just that call that made me mad, and I think that's the only call that he got wrong. But just my opinion. Then we move on. Right before halftime, Palmer is on the edge of the box, has a shot, takes a deflection, but as it takes the deflection, it's going right in the upper top right-hand corner and almost goes in, but Onana pulls off a great save. The deflection took off pace off the ball, so I can see why it's not the best save in the world, but still a great save. Gives us a corner, but that's all we get. Oh, and yeah, after the save, it didn't go out for a corner. Enzo Fernandez actually comes up on the end of it, but misses a sitter again. But thank God he was offside, because then we would be having another conversation. Now, in the second half, Mason Mount actually started turning up, and I don't know about y'all Chelsea fans, but I'm actually quite happy that he's seems like he's hitting form. He scored a couple goals in the last few games for Manchester United, and in this game, I think he was their best player, or the best performer at least. And it's good to see him getting back to full fitness and performing well. I think, yes, maybe you can call him a traitor, but he won a Champions League with us. And I truly believe that if he scored in this game, I don't think he would have celebrated against us. I do really like him as a player. We loved him when he was here, so I'm glad to see that he's doing well, at least for right now. But anyways, Mason Mount picks up the ball and starts a counterattack and is having a great run, doesn't really dribble past anyone, but it's just carrying the ball all the way up the pitch, then finally releases it off to Ahmad, who takes a couple touches, dribbles a little bit closer to the goal, and lays it off to Mason Mount, who takes a left-footed shot, not his favorite foot, but it goes really wide. Almost looked like it was about to go out for a throw-in rather than a goal kick, but it's whatever. He had a great game. We're going to move off now into the 60th minute, where this is where Moises Caicedo puts in a great ball straight through the defensive line of Manchester United, and nobody can even get close to the ball, but puts in a great ball to Tyreek George, who's running on the end of it. And this is what we've been wanting to use Tyreek George for. I think this is why Enzo Maresca plays him. Obviously, we don't have Nicholas Jackson, Mark Way, he's out, so we don't have a true number 9 to play for us. But I think what Enzo Maresca is hoping for is maybe not use Tyreek George as a false 9, but use him as somebody who can just run in behind, run wide, and try to just push us up the field whenever we don't have anything open. Just send it up there, find the channel that he's running into, and get him the ball. Now, we play him the ball, as I said, in the 60th minute, and it looks like, without the slow-mos or the replays, it looks like we have a penalty call because he gets the ball right inside the 18-yard box, and Onana comes out as well and goes for the ball. They both go for the ball, but it looks like Tyreek George got there first. But we look on the replay, Onana actually gets a hand on the ball before taking out Tyreek George, so no penalty call there. That was the right call. I don't see how they could have messed that up. That was an obvious call. And then in the 70th minute, obviously, we got our first goal, the only goal in this game, but it was just an amazing goal. And it's not just the final 20 seconds of this goal. It's the last 3 minutes of that's happened that we possess it, and we've had all this stick for the coach for playing boring football and taking way too long to push us up the field, playing way too horizontally rather than vertically. But with this goal, I mean, we're patient, we're waiting for the right things to appear, the right runs, and then having a little bit of individual brilliance on the end of it to have us score the goal. It was great. We had great build-up play, got a lot of people involved, and basically what happens once we move up the field, Pedro Neto gets it wide, does a couple tricks, a couple step overs, then turns inside, gives it to Reece James, where it takes a touch inside, a kind of a heavy touch at that, and it looks like he's actually lining up for a left-footed shot. But instead, he pulls the defender in with him because you never want to have Reece James have that much space, which then Reece James does some like McGeady spin, some roulette, some awesome spin move that totally shakes and bakes the defender and just has the defender just lost in no man's land, who then puts in a beautiful cross, doesn't even look up or look who's in the box. He knows where they're going to be arriving. He puts it in first time, doesn't waste any time, and then Cucurella gets on the end of it, running the middle channel. And it's just an amazing performance by Reece James in this game. And I forgot to include that Reece James earlier in the first half had that one shot that struck the post, but it was just, when you hit a ball that good, it's just so satisfying to watch. He hits down at it, and it's just, you can see the curve on it with the power. I mean, it was just one of the best shots I've ever seen. From Reece James, that is, but it was just great technical ability. Anyways, going back to the goal, Reece James, obviously a great bit of individual brilliance to bring in the 70th minute and have Cucurella score the goal. And it is weird times at Chelsea Football Club when our left back is scoring a lot more than our striker, and it does make your mind ponder about, like, if we put Cucurella up top as our number 9, would he actually do a better job than Jackson? Because Jackson provides a lot as a striker, but just not his finishing ability, and which is the thing that's most important. So if we stuck Cucurella up there, would we actually score more goals, you know? But obviously, I'm just kidding about this. We need Cucurella as our left back or inverting as a holding mid, whichever. I don't think it would work out well. Regardless, these are weird times that our fullbacks are our best perform, well, not our best performers, but our highest scoring, our highest goal contributing performers. Now to finally sum up this game, in the 78th minute, this is about the last chance of the game. Ahmad is dribbling in. And in this game, I always knew that he was good, but I realized that Ahmad like really keeps the ball really close to his foot, almost like Messi. And obviously he's nowhere near Messi, but the way he keeps the ball glued to his foot just really scared me in that game. Regardless, he dribbles it up, finally cuts inside and has a shot, but Alexis Sanchez is just ready for it. It's on the near post and he's ready for it. So that's about the end of the game. But right before the game's end, maybe like a minute or two before the ref calls the whistle, a fan actually runs onto the pitch, a pitch invader, and then actually tackles one of the Chelsea players. Or that's so wrong. One of the security guys tackles the pitch invader, but it's hilarious because if you were a Manchester United fan, you'd have to be probably really mad about this because it's right at the end of the game. You know, the ref's probably not going to add on much time for this, and it was awesome to see the Chelsea fan kind of like, it's like we had 12 men on the pitch because we had another guy trying to waste time for us. So that was really cool. Now, let's go over my positives and negatives of this game when it comes to player performances. Now, it wasn't the greatest performance. I think the Chelsea players were very sloppy, mainly in the first half. We could not get touches right. We could not get a lot of passes right. We could not build up play. We were very sloppy on the ball. But that being said, I think there were a lot of great performances in this game. Now let me start with my first. Cole Palmer, I think a lot of people are not going to be happy with this performance, but I am. Not every game he's going to have 20, 30, 40, 50 touches on the ball. He's going to have to, for when he does get the ball, he needs to make the most out of it. And I think in that game he really did. He was quiet, but when he got the ball, he did good, putting in through balls, having shots, being brave, and just doing what we need to get our team over the line. Now, we're going to move on to Caicedo, who I was thinking about giving my man of the match to, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that for later. But Caicedo today, he's always the man of the match. He's always up there every single game. He's our most consistent performer, as I say, in every single video. But today we saw a lot more of his dribbling and taking it up the pitch and how he is under pressure. And he had a very good game. Obviously, he had some good tackles. He covered a lot of the midfield, controlled the midfield for the most part. But my main positive coming from Moises Caicedo today is that he took the ball up the field under pressure through many defenders, badgering him, pushing on, pulling on his shirt and all that, but it just didn't bother him. And there was one bit of play right near the end where, maybe not near the end, but in the second half where he's dribbling past, he starts with the ball, takes it past one defender, then another one. They all keep flying in. But then at one point, he's past the halfway line, and there's about 5 Manchester United defenders all around him, grabbing all the attention where he can just lay it off to Cole Palmer in acres of space, who then plays it out to Neto. Now, he was great today. He just keeps on performing so well, and I'm just so excited. I think he could possibly be a better player than N'Golo Kante at the end of the day because he has more attributes to his game. Now, let's just move on. I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, obviously, Cucurella, he had a great game today, scored the winning header, always brings in a bunch of energy, just like Caicedo, and really helps the team out just defensively, but then also comes up bombs down the wing and then comes in the center and scores our only goal for us that gets us the 3 points. Thing is, every time I talk about Cucurella, I always say the same stuff, but it's great that he is performing so well. It's funny because Cucurella and Caicedo both both came from Brighton. They both seem to perform super well and the best of their abilities, best all season, right at the end of the season. So I love to see that. Now we're going to move on to Colwill, who I think a lot of Chelsea fans have been calling out, and he's been getting a lot of stick recently, which I think is unfair. I think he started the season off really hot. He has a lot of good game-saving tackles, blocks, I think, that people are just overlooking a little bit. And then mid-season and near the end of the season, he hasn't been as good, but that's fine because today I think he had a really stellar defensive performance today, putting in blocks, putting in tackles, being a sweeper, making it as hard as possible for Manchester United to get in. Now, I'm also now going to be talking about my man of the match, Reece James. He was absolutely amazing today, and I'm so glad for him. I mean, I saw some statistic that this is the first season, I think in 3 or 4 seasons, where he's played at least 50% of Chelsea matches, and that is huge. I think we have to give a lot of applause to Enzo Maresca to just bringing him back, because he had an injury this season, and I think he did good at limiting his minutes, but also making sure he does get minutes so that we can keep his fitness and his sharpness good. I think we do have to applaud Enzo Maresca for that. But today he was just amazing. He's really picking up form now. He could have had a goal and an assist, but he was just good all over the pitch. Great defending always. Good on the ball. Rarely put a foot wrong, but it's that individual brilliance that he has in the 70th minute that really just shows that he's my man of the match today. Cucurella obviously has to head it in, but I think that all of that goal goes credit to Reece James. He was amazing today and in that moment. Now, I'm going to go to my negatives. I don't think there were a lot of negative performances. I'm just going to call out one, which I'm not proud to be doing, but it's Enzo Fernandez. I know I saw after the game that he had pink eye, and I was thinking he had an injury to his eye, because when you see him on the slow-mos or just on camera, it looks like he has like one eye shut and one eye open. Regardless, he has pink eye, so I can understand if it wasn't his best performance today, but it wasn't even good. It was a bad performance. It seemed, maybe it was just in the first half when I was really critiquing him, but it seemed that he could never put a foot right. It's not that his passes were bad, it's that his touches were bad. Whenever he was under pressure, he lost the ball, and he just didn't seem to have good awareness. Regardless, it was just a really bad game from him today. I hope he can recover from this. Maybe it was just the pink eye, who knows? It doesn't matter. It's the end. But because Nicholas Jackson is out from a red card for the rest of the season, and Mark Weahy's out from an injury, we do not have a true number 9. We can play Pedro Neto there. We can play Tyreek George there. We can maybe put Cole Palmer as a false 9, but we can see that there's just no point in crossing the ball, really. And I get Reece James is crossing in the ball, but hoping for Cucurella to get on the end of a cross in the air is just not efficient. I really don't think so. Maybe every once in a while, but not having a true number 9, it seems like we don't have really any real threat up there. And I don't want to give Tyreek George a negative or anything, but I think it was just a hard game for him today. I don't think he was making the right decisions. I think there were a couple instances in the first half where he got the ball and he laid it off. When he finally got the ball, he laid it off to another Chelsea midfielder, but instead he should be turning with acres of space in front of him. We move past that. But the main thing I want to talk about is maybe not just talk about, but celebrate that we are still fighting for a Champions League spot. And it seems like, especially for the last few years, the endings of these seasons have been so anticlimactic. There's just no exciting stuff happening going on. But in this Premier League season, we have a lot of attention on us because the relegation's done, the title race is done, and the only thing we're looking at right now is the Champions League qualifications, and we are right in the center of that. And it is so exciting to just watch these games, and it's so nervy, so many nerves right now. And I know every Chelsea fan's feeling the same thing as I am. Like, we're happy to get these 3 points, but it does not matter at all if we don't win against Nottingham Forest, which will be a very tough game on I forgot what day it is, probably just Sunday. And the final game of the season. But just to let y'all know, these are the rankings as of right now. In third place, there's Newcastle with 66 points. Chelsea, us, in fourth place with 66 points. Aston Villa in fifth place with 66 points. Sixth place is Manchester City with 65 points. And in seventh place, there's Nottingham Forest with 65 points. Now, Man City have a game in hand, but having 5 places all fighting for Champions League qualification with only a split of 1 point between the teams, between third and seventh place, is just insane. It's going to be such an exciting end to the season on Sunday, and I just hope that we go through. It's very scary for us. But again, thank you for watching, Blues, and I'll see you next time.